Very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Kanji Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Evan Sokinyi. I'm here with the Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, how are you?
Good. Yes.
Now, you've maintained your stand that it wasn't a good idea for the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to actually form his party.
Yes.
That notwithstanding, the party is here.
Yes.
Look at it. How is he supposed then to navigate this kind of political terrain in that he can actually present a very formidable force and therefore avoid the kind of consequences that his mistake would have actually made him to face?
You know, let's be fair to him. There was need for a mountain party.
Yes.
And if it was felt that Jubilee wasn't resonating properly on the ground, then the idea of another party was okay. Let's also be fair to him. If it was not very feasible for him and his people to feel comfortable in Jubilee, much as is a mountain party, again, let's give it to him. That's okay, it's acceptable. Let's also appreciate the fact that this is a huge party. In the coming election, I think it's going to be the biggest party. Yeah, that's a fact. I think it is going to be the mountain party. I want to suspect strongly that anybody who is not running on DCP in Mount Kenya and the Gema-dominated areas will have a big problem. But having said that, I must go back to my initial position that this party and the formation of it puts Gachagua in direct conflict with Jubilee and specifically Uhuru Kenyatta. This is even more complicated because whereas DCP is the mountain party and Gachagua is a mountain leader, respected, the mountain people, I don't think they have Gachagua in mind for president. So these are some of the things he needed to have considered. I think the mountain people are settled on Kalonzo or Matiang'i. Yeah. So it's very challenging for him.
Okay.
And how he navigates that is very difficult. That's why I was insisting that Gachagua ought to have avoided a direct connection or even ownership of that DCP party.
Okay. How many political parties are there in the central Kenya region?
Of course, there are many.
There are so many.
There are many.
Then
Moses
what
Kuria has
reason
his,
is coming up with one?
Mangi Kijuri, my friend, has his, the Mbas party is there,
Last party, the one for
PNU is there, DP is there, they have many parties, Jubilee and what. But the party of the day for 2027, unless something drastic happens, unless Uhuru Kenyatta, if Uhuru Kenyatta wants to kill DCP, he will kill it.
Okay.
But that's not his style. If Uhuru Kenyatta came forcefully for Jubilee, look at how he allowed people to mess with Jubilee. Small, useless people. So I don't think he can fight for Jubilee. But if Uhuru put up a fight for Jubilee and held Matiang'i's hand like this, DCP will have a challenge. But since that's not going to happen anytime soon, DCP is the party.
Okay. So you're saying here that DCP is the party.
Yeah.
So by the way, how did you want him to make sure that he's influential in the next elections? You see, I'm nowadays very cautious between when I want to mention the year when the elections are taking place.
Yeah.
Due to the
I know your influence from Willis.
Not really influence, but then looking at things that they are.
Elections will be in 2027.
Election, even
yes.
if it's 2027, then here we are. We've always had this conversation that the only way through which he could be influential is through the party. And then you are like, no, he can actually just operate
above party.
Above party, that is.
And I want to repeat this. Gachagua was already above party. He was above all the parties in the opposition. He was a superordinate figure. He reduced himself to be an ordinary figure.
Okay. I definitely watched your show with Jadiel on the same. And my now concern is, now that was a mistake, how then does he correct it?
He should see me behind the tent. For consultants. And I want to repeat it here, may I have said it, I'm not going to do work for politicians because they have to pay for it. Yeah, we have the answers.
So they have to pay.
All. It's not even that Manyora has the answers. It is just that you need to think, and Kenyans are not good at thinking. And the politicians surround with themselves with people who don't think. So by saying I should be paid, I just be paid to think for them, and look for individuals who can work with me in thinking, and we get the answer. The answers are just there. It's just that people don't want to think.
Okay.
They go to politicians for money, so they know what to say, what to touch, and they live there with money. They know. I met one of these politicians, who is a very good friend of mine, who might as well become president. But I told him, look here, my friend, you are a new politician. You are coming into politics for the first time. Be aware of political conmen and political brokers. They will surround you and they will color the world they want you to see. But above all, they have the tendency to elbow good people away from you. They make sure good people are not there. So they occupy the space around you. You will never go far. In fact, in local politics in the village, councillor, it used to be councillor, MCA, MP, your opponents, sensing you could be a danger, they send those people to you, to surround you, to sing praises to you, to say the things you want to hear. And in the process, ensure the people who could have helped you are not near you. I told my friend, I told him, beware. In the few days after that I watched, I think he didn't listen. He didn't listen. Many of these politicians, even Raila, I've told him, in last election I told him I should be the last person to tell you, because you know more than me. This is the season for political brokers and conmen. Mtu alikuwa amejenga nyumba imefika hapo, inaitwanga wall plate, rental or whatever. Anajua he's going to roof the house and do finishing and furnish it with the money from politics. And they know how to speak. They know what to say. Yeah, so mine is to advise politicians. The politics is so hot, the heat that the politics has generated in 2025, the first half of 2025. You can imagine the temperatures as we get to 2027. Most of these politicians will be defeated, not because they don't have numbers. They will be so confused, they will not even tell what time of day. These new politicians, Jim Wanjigi, Fred Matiang'i, all these new politicians, I will talk to them after the elections of 2027. It even happens when you are appointed a principal secretary or a cabinet secretary. There are mandarins in the ministries, they put you here, like this. Your calendar is crowded. Oh, we are going to which embassy, there's cocktails, what? You are moving from, you don't own yourself, they own you. And they do it deliberately. They put you on this finger. So this kind of Fred Matiang'i is now. Political brokers and conmen are planning to spin them and direct them. They will be so confused. When Ruto beats them, it will not be because they didn't have the numbers. Because you must ensure, and I'll keep giving the example of Hillary Clinton advising the husband, Bill Clinton. You must ensure you have intelligent men and women around you most of the time. Give brokers their time. Cheerleaders, they have their role. But the problem is they usurp everything. Yeah.
Now, looking at this particular party, how is it different from the rest? Because we've just mentioned here that there are several political parties within the central Kenya region, the mountain. So how then should Gachagua actually move so that we witness a difference kind of in terms of its standing, its stature within the mountain?
That I told you I'll do as a consultant. But what I can tell you is that DCP is a party founded on anger, resentment, a party founded to fight what is perceived by the Mount Kenya people as betrayal from William Samoei Ruto. And that's why I'm telling you, if you are not with DCP in the mountain, to get elected is like a dream. Jubilee may produce the presidential candidate who can even win, like Matiang'i or Kalonzo. But DCP is the party on the ground. It captures that anger on the ground, the resentment, the fight against betrayal. There are people, I have talked to many people, influential Kikuyu people, they feel what Ruto has done to the community to bring it to ridicule and shame must be fought using all means. So if Gachagua had been smart, even being president would not have been a problem. But people are drawing a line between Gachagua, DCP, the anger, the resentment, the betrayal, and where their vote is going. There's a line. The people are very sure about voting for Kalonzo or Matiang'i, especially Matiang'i. But they are very happy with Gachagua and they are with him in the fight against Ruto. And DCP is that vehicle fighting to ensure Ruto does not have a foothold or anything in Mount Kenya region. So this distinction, if Gachagua doesn't see it, he will be surprised by 2027 if he tries to stand and he gets 500,000 votes when Matiang'i is getting 6 million votes. Yeah, he has to figure out. That's the situation on the mountain now. Yeah.
Look at the kind of divisions that we're witnessing in this particular mountain. Do you expect to see some sort of exodus of members of parliament from the UDA party towards this particular party?
Which exodus? Everybody has left UDA.
But technically they're still there. Legally they're still members of the UDA.
UDA is left with Ishungwa, Kimani Ishungwa and who else?
And remember in the leadership of...
Even those who are lying, they are supporting UDA. Kimani Ishungwa is most likely to remain alone.
If that is the case, why is it that they were not mentioned in the leadership hierarchy of this party?
But none was mentioned because then you could run the risk. Because Ruto is not Uhuru, Ruto is not Raila. Guys who left to go to UDA, I kept saying they should even be surcharged. They were in parliament wrongly. One day they will pay for that money. If people left Jubilee and went to UDA openly, they even took positions there. And they continued being members of parliament and earning salaries. They will be surcharged one time. But you see, that was Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Ruto is not that. So if today you want to become an official of DCP and you are playing with Ruto, you will lose your seat. Yeah, Ruto is not Uhuru. So they fear. None of them was, did you see any of them taking a position? They fear. They fear people know you are in DCP. But there's nothing direct, the way Kina Kostani did last time, my friend. And they remain members of parliament. This is Ruto, my friend.
You're wondering if
Ruto atapita na wewe.
If this person was able to deal with the deputy president, who are you, a mere member of parliament? Is that the kind of case that
So they fear.
They fear.
They cannot associate directly with the DCP. It will be because they know Ruto is not Uhuru Kenyatta. Atapita na wewe.
Okay. How many members of parliament do you expect the Jubilee party to produce in central Kenya?
You see, there's the dynamic that we must deal with. Uhuru, if what we are seeing is true, is fronting Matiang'i. Matiang'i would come through Jubilee, but Gachagua is pushing him to come through that Kisi party. So that Gachagua can justify his DCP. But I think Matiang'i, if Uhuru is supporting directly, Matiang'i is best advised to come through Jubilee. So if Matiang'i is going to be a Jubilee candidate, and the mountain doesn't change, because as I speak to you now, the name Matiang'i in Mount Kenya, as indeed in many parts of this country, is a magic name. He may mess it himself, because the way I'm seeing, he has not learned politics. He may miss it himself. But the name Matiang'i is on the lips of everybody in Mount Kenya. So supposing he comes through Jubilee and he remains the candidate of the people the way he is now, and Uhuru played tough politics, or he left it to Matiang'i, that way there will be sharing of seats between Gachagua's DCP and Jubilee. Yeah.
Okay.
But if Matiang'i comes with his party and Uhuru is not aggressive, DCP will take all the seats. All, and I know a little English. All is ALL, underline,
So
perhaps in capital letters. All of them. You will not take a seat in Mount Kenya if you are not on DCP. Unless Matiang'i runs on Jubilee, Uhuru comes out directly to support Matiang'i, to fight for Jubilee, and to give Matiang'i power to run Jubilee.
how then does he avoid that kind of direct confrontation with former President Uhuru Kenyatta?
He's already started the confrontation by forming DCP.
Okay, so it's already
It's already there.
started by
The
saying
next one,
we are past that.
people must think about it. I don't have the answers. I've told you many times.
That is why I was saying in your
Yes.
conversation with Jadel, you were like, this was a mistake.
Yeah.
But then it has happened already. And life has to move on.
That's how we come in as consultants. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the only way for Gachagua to get out of this particular problem is best known to you, and he has to
He has to see me and the people like me. How do we earn our living? We have grandchildren to take care of. Yeah.
Hey, Manarigiji, if at all you're watching, find Professor Herman Manyora. He's got the direct keyword to the problem that you're facing. Allow me to stop this conversation for now. Ladies and gentlemen, you can weigh in and tell us what you think till we have this conversation again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans. Okay.
Okay.